Welcome to the family with
Andy Brandt Bernard.
Co-host Catherine Brandt.
and Alex Rasmussen.
We'll be in whenever. Oh, now she sounds like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah,
That's,
it's really,
Little
that's really,
bit.
really
that
nice.
was a very bad Alex imitation.
Okay, I want to run this by you
doing
guys.
A woman impression doesn't usually work.
No.
Yeah, there you go. We saw this on the morning show, and I got to run it by you guys because I don't know how they would have found this out, what this is all about. You guys know what Axe body spray is, right?
I sure do.
Okay, you know what that is, Catherine?
I do. I remember all the junior
That's-
high school students when Andy was a teenager
Yep.
were dousing themselves like it was their job.
I don't know how they found this out, but we talked about it in the morning show. I want to ask you guys too. Axe body spray prevents sheep from fighting.
Well, they
What?
probably
Oh.
don't want to go anywhere near each other because it smells bad to them.
My guess is that it's something about pheromones. It probably blocks
Or that.
pheromones because it's so very strong. It's like
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
when you
exactly.
when I used to have a stallion and I used to take him to horse shows, you put Vicks Vapor Rub
Yep.
in his nostrils so he can't smell the mares and
Yep.
estrus.
There you go.
Yep.
I suppose that must be what it is then.
Yep.
But I
Ask
mean,
Farmer Catherine. She knows.
how would they find out that Axe body spray is what keeps sheep from fighting, though?
Probably because these stinky shepherds decided to wear
could be.
Axe body spray.
Yeah, maybe.
And then found out that their sheep were being nice to each other.
You may be right, and this is not good for the Pepsi-Cola company. Pepsi is recalling a zero sugar product because it was actually chock full of sugar.
Well,
How does that
that's a big manufacturing flaw.
But I mean, how does that happen that your sugar-free is full of sugar?
Somebody didn't update the ingredients list for the factory, I guess.
I guess that must be what it is because I don't understand how you could make a mistake like that.
Or
200 cases of sugar-free Schweppes ginger ale had full sugar.
all the diabetics are like, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Try to kill me.
In
Yep.
the hospital because of you, but other
Yeah.
than that,
Not good.
not good. So what else is in the news? What's going on?
What else is in the news? I don't know. Didn't see the news this morning. But I was going to talk about something. I don't remember what
All
it
right
was.
then.
That's really
I
great.
had a really good thing to talk about.
That's great. You don't know. We had something to talk about, but I can't remember what it is. So what do you remember what it had to do with or anything?
I don't. Everybody knows I'm not a jailbird anymore.
You
No?
what?
Well, yesterday when I. Oh yeah, did I talk about this yesterday that I had to
talked
go on
about
a
your-
Zoom meeting?
No, you talked
Zoom
about the
court?
fact that you got a ticket and
Oh, okay.
you
That's
had to
what I
go
want
to
to talk
court
about.
and-
That's
Yeah,
why I
there
want
you
to. Okay, so if anybody has to do. Okay, so I got a parking ticket which was 100% bogus.
It was.
It was only $38, but I'm like, I'm not paying this. So I went on the website when I looked at the ticket and it said that you had to send in all of this proof. So I used an app. The app had the time. The app had the license plate number and the meter. I took pictures of the meter. I did everything to prove that I was not supposed to get a ticket. And when we came out, there was still 22 minutes left on the meter. So I was like, I don't understand how anybody could get a ticket when there's 22 minutes on the meter. But anyway, I got one, and I'm like, I'm not paying this. So I sent it in thinking that would be the end of it.
Right.
You know, I'm like, it's just some photocopies, you know. And if the app isn't working, they should know. Because if everybody just keeps paying and paying and paying and the app isn't working, then, you know, it's not fair. So anyhow, so I keep getting these notices that they're raising the fee and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I sent in all of this stuff. Well, almost a month later, after they would have doubled the fee, they sent me a notice to appear on a Zoom pre-trial.
pre-trial.
So I'm thinking, what does this mean? So anyway, so I get on there. I've never done any of this stuff before. I've never had a ticket that I was going to deny and all of this. Everybody who was in traffic court was on the Zoom call.
Yeah, right.
And this is a
Yep.
tip. If you ever need to go on a pretrial hearing thing like this, the earlier you log on, even if you don't go near your computer, you'll be the first one in line.
Right.
Because I logged on, of course, 2 or 3 minutes before, thinking that they're not going to want everybody sitting there in a waiting room on Zoom. But anyway, so small tip, if you ever have to go into a Zoom court situation, get on early so you'll be the first one. So after listening to people with overly tinted windows, and usually it was handicap parking spots
Right.
that they weren't supposed to be in, parking in no loading zones for too long, or loading only zones for too long, blah, 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 blah. I finally get on there 35 minutes later, and she says, "Oh, I see you sent in all of your evidence. Your case is dismissed." And I'm like, why didn't they just, when they got the stuff?
Yeah. Yep.
Because apparently she had emailed some people
But not you.
that they had their cases were dismissed, but not me. And not this other guy that had the same thing happen to him. He said, the app wasn't working. I paid. She's like, "Oh, yeah, I see that you sent in all of the paperwork." Why didn't they just dismiss it in the first place?
Why didn't they just call
Why
and say it's dismissed?
waste everyone's time?
Email even.
Just an email.
Yep.
I mean, as soon as they got the stuff, they could have just, some clerk could have rubber stamped it, said it's dismissed, and off we go. And an email sent to me. I don't know.
Now, Andy, here's why I think your mom got the ticket. Because even though there were 22 minutes left on the meeting when we got out there, the one difference in the car was it had Minnesota plates. And I think there are certain people that will give you a ticket knowing, well, they're not even from here. They'll just pay this because they don't want to come back here.
Well, actually, if I was leaving the state and I was never coming back, I would never pay it.
Well,
They
yeah,
probably
who
wouldn't
would
pay the
pay it
ticket,
if they're just going to leave?
Yeah, if I was
that's
never
a good
coming
point.
back to the state.
Yeah, they're not going to extradite you to Florida to pay a parking ticket. So
No.
it's like, yeah, you're just going to be like, no, screw that. I'm out of here.
Exactly. I would think most people would do it that way. But anyway, so it was just like a stupid thing. And I was like, well, maybe I should just pay the $38. But I'm like, no. And the other thing is, if there's some meter man, meter maid running around, meter person, whatever we call them today,
Right.
parking violations officers, if there's somebody just running around giving tickets and not even checking the app, the more people that present their case, maybe they would look at this person and say, you know what, I think you're kind of lazy and you're giving people tickets that don't need tickets.
Yeah, you'd think.
You'd think, but I guess I'm hopeful that there might be some efficiency in government.
Alex has joined us. How you doing?
I'm here. I'm
Found the
sorry.
sour cream?
Oh my gosh, that took way longer than it needed to. I'm like, I need a few things from Target. I need protein powder. I need sour cream. I need oat milk. And there was one more thing. And I was like, this will be quick. And I'm wandering around looking at every dairy item except sour cream. You got cream cheese over here. You got ricotta over here. You got shredded cheeses and sliced cheeses over here. You got cottage cheese over here. Sour cream was between orange juice and pre-made cookie dough.
Why? Why would that be?
Great
'Cause
question.
Because like I was telling her before,
Yeah.
it's they want you wandering around so you'll buy more stuff.
I suppose, yeah.
Oh, cookie dough. That looks
Yeah.
good.
Impulse buys.
Yeah, impulse buys are huge.
Yes, I did do some impulse buys, but it's things that we like because in the spring in the dollar section, they always have organic seeds like sunflowers and tomatoes and herbs and stuff. And the kids really love, they come in like little egg carton things or individual little teeny tiny pots. And this time it's like a 6 egg carton thing. And the kids really, it's super easy. And so I was like, oh, I'll get those because we always do those every spring. And then I got some quinoa chocolate things because I love them. And I saw them. And I was like, I will.
Are you able to grow anything in the back with the rabbit situation?
So I tried to plant,
Because I can't grow anything because
I tried to plant
rabbits.
sunflowers last year on the side of our garage because it's just like sun mania over there.
I
And
like
it's
that.
pretty ugly and sad. You don't really see it. Like our neighbor is the only one that sees it, but nobody else sees that part of our garage. And I planted them too early and the bunnies ate them.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'm going to
They'll
plant
do
them
that.
this year and then we'll keep them on our deck because I'm like, cute little sunflowers on our deck will be fun. because we get a lot of sun on our deck for like a good amount of time. And then once they're big enough, I'm going to try to transplant them and see what happens. And if not, it was $2 from Target for 6. So
Yeah.
and then tomatoes, both my kids inhale tomatoes all the time. So I'm like, and they're organic seeds.
Sounds
So
like
I was like,
Wonder where they got
Bop
that
Bop
from.
is, since he's been on Livia, he's been eating,
a lot of tomatoes.
yes.
You should.
Grape tomatoes.
Do you guys go to Trader Joe's? Do you
I
shop at
do.
Trader
I
Joe's?
do when we're in Minnesota, but there's not a
Okay.
Trader Joe's. It's very handy here.
Never mind. Because there's these tomatoes called sprinkles, I think is what they're called.
Oh, the
And
teeny
they're
weeny ones?
they're teeny weeny, and the kids just like handful them into.
Yep.
They're like, these are the best tomatoes. I'm like,
They're really sweet.
okay,
Yeah.
I don't know.
My little tomato plant, it took a beating in a windstorm,
Oh,
but I trimmed it back and it's flowering again.
It's really good. Those are really good tomatoes too.
well,
I
that's
know
good.
it was such a happy little plant, and then we had a bad windstorm, and it was just like, forget it, I don't want to live anymore.
I know. I was given a fiddle fig from my friend's mother. She was like, it's not happy with me. It's just dying. It's dropping leaves all the time. It was huge. This thing had to be expensive when she bought it. And she was like, I don't want it anymore. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, sure. And by the time I got it, it only had like 6 leaves left. And it's, like I said, humongous. And they're all on the top.
Yeah.
And I watched a video of this woman, and she's like, how to help a sad fiddle fig, because it's not going to grow anything new from the bottom if you just leave it as is. It'll all just grow new from the top, which
Yeah.
that's what's happened. It's happy with me. It hasn't dropped any more leaves, and it's growing more, but everything's up top. So I'm like, everything beneath is dead. And she's like, you just hack away at it. You cut
Yeah.
everything off, all the
That
new
solves a
growth,
lot of
everything.
problems.
So then it will sprout from the bottom. And I'm like, I'm scared, but I think I'm going to do it.
Have you seen when you're on Instagram or anything, that app that you pointed at a plant and it's like add
Oh,
milk,
yeah.
add sugar,
Yeah,
add
cayenne.
basil?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think that's kind of cool, but I'm
I
not
don't
going
know
to do it.
if it's like real or not, though. Like, does it actually work?
I don't know.
Because I've never heard of any. Like, I follow a lot of plant people. Well, not a lot. I follow a few plant people that put a lot of information out, and they never are like, just pour milk into your plant. Like, they never. I don't know.
Well, and the one with sugar, I'm like, well, then you're going to be invaded with the ants, and then you'll have a whole other
100%. You're
problem.
gonna have bugs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm trusting.
I just find that you can have a plant in one corner of a window and it's happy, and you move it to the other side and it will die within a week. It's just
Oh, yeah.
just gotta
Oh, yeah,
figure
depending
out what
on the
they
plant.
like. Yeah.
Depending on the plant, it's like, it's like, oh, I forgot to put it 1 centimeter to the left, and now it's
Yep.
dead.
Yep.
Certain
It's
plants.
amazing.
Meanwhile,
how
I've
picky
got
they
a
can be.
Cactus that's coming up on, no, it's over 20 years old now.
Oh yeah, cactus.
And no, it hasn't
Still
grown.
going.
It still hasn't grown more than maybe an eighth of an inch in
No,
all that
it's
time.
never going to grow. It's a static entity.
It's so weird. Are you sure it's alive? It's not just petrified?
It's alive.
Okay.
Some,
I think I gave that to you when you
Yeah.
lived in
No,
college.
you gave- no, it was before that. You gave it to me when I got back from the hospital.
Oh, I was like low maintenance. Okay.
Yeah, for my Crohn's thing.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
He's had
that's
it all
when I
those
got
years.
God,
It's-
really?
Still have that cactus. Yeah, we had a window repair guy. He opened the window and broke the big cactus in half.
Oh,
my God.
God! After
Yep.
all that time.
Well, so we
Ugh.
toothpicked the cactus back together and it healed up.
It did?
It's okay again. Yep.
Really?
Interesting.
An
I didn't know it would do
immortal
that.
and vulnerable cactus.
Yeah, they're in Minnesota. For some reason, cacti will grow in the weirdest spots, like in a rock garden with facing the south. You'll
Mhm.
see, like over at Lake Harriet Rose Gardens. There's
Well,
some
the south
cactus.
is where the sun is. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't understand how a cactus can survive our winters at all, like ever.
I don't
It
know how
just
they
doesn't make
propagate. I'm
sense.
assuming they have seeds.
I mean, they don't grow nicely and they're not pretty, but you can grow cacti if
Yeah.
it's the right conditions.
Well, and like succulents are
Are they a form of
I
cactus?
think.
I
You use
wonder.
cactus soil in them, and
They're like cacti,
Yeah.
but are they actually?
I feel like they're.
I don't know. We need a botanist today.
Need a botanist.
I'm listening to a book about a botanist.
What?
I'm listening to a book that has a botanist in it.
Oh,
You mean it's a fictional thing?
Yeah, it's a novel.
It's a
Oh,
novel.
is that Mrs. Somebody Drives to Spain?
No.
What?
I'm listening.
this is
I'm
somebody
reading.
drive. That
I'm
sounds
reading
fascinating.
a book called. Now that you've said that, Mrs. Quinn's Ride. Oh my God, Mrs. Quinn's Rise to Fame is what.
Yeah,
the
Alex
book
says
is.
I'm reading this book, Mrs. Quinn's Rise to Fame, and I don't know if I was in the car with her or whatever. I couldn't hear, so I'm like, Mrs. Quinn drives to Spain, and the kids started laughing their asses off. Mrs. Quinn drives to Spain. What? That's not right. They thought that was. They must have said that 400 times. They thought it was hilarious.
Oh, and like they see the book, just like out because I'm reading it and whatever. So it's just like floats around the house, and they're like, "Is that Mrs. Quinn rides to Spain?" You guys,
Honest to God.
There are succulents in the cactus family,
Yeah.
but not all succulents are in the cactus family.
Of course not, because nothing is.
There's
you know, cut and dried
800
in
trillion types of
plants.
succulent. So
Ah,
perfect.
What does succulent actually mean?
it's a kind of plant. They tolerate dry conditions because they hold water. They've got like chambers in there.
yeah, it's a very like loose definition of plants. It's basically any plant that has like an aloe plant, how it's all thick and like gel filled.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
that has that basically is a succulent.
Yeah.
Any plant that stores a lot of water in it somehow is a succulent.
But all cacti do that too. They store water. Right?
Not all of them.
Jelly.
Oh,
Yeah, not all of them are like that. Like those spider cactus or whatever.
the spider cactus.
They're like thin and branchy.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
don't do that.
Oh, okay. I thought everything did.
But I don't know. A lot of cactus are succulents.
Thin and branchy.
Ah,
Like
see?
cephalocleistocactus.
Well, yeah,
I was going to say
Mhm.
that.
we all know that. For sure.
We need new information.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Cactuses only exist in a very small part of America.
Yeah, the desert, right?
Well, but I mean, like, that's the entire world. That's all they live in. Is like this little patch of this one country.
Oh,
I
really?
always-
They do it in all countries?
They don't exist in any other country, not natively.
They don't
They
really?
don't?
I didn't know
That's-
that.
What I always heard.
I would think that they'd be in Africa or South America,
You think, yeah.
in any arid area.
There are spiny succulents in other countries, but they're not cacti.
Really?
That's interesting.
Spiny succulents.
That is new information. Did not know.
All you got to do is listen to the show with the family, and you learn so much. There's no
Yep.
question about it.
Things.
No doubt about it.
Yes.
So we got succulents covered. We got sandwiches covered. We got.
Sandwiches.
Didn't we talk about sandwiches? Maybe not.
I
Maybe I
don't
was just thinking about a sandwich.
think we talked about
I was gonna
sandwiches.
say I don't remember
Talked about
any
sour cream.
sandwich
Sour cream.
can
We
talk
talked
about
about that.
because my daughter is 75% sour cream.
You know, one thing I love about Fawny so much is that every time you call and you do FaceTime, Fawn is always doing tumbling in the background.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
There's a
It's
flip and a
hilarious.
cartwheel.
It is.
round
That's
off.
how Ethan is now too. I'll be
I
talking
bet,
on the
yeah.
phone, and his thing is so you'll be sitting on the couch talking, and his thing is to jump over you repeatedly, He'll come up to
While
you.
you're on the phone.
dive over you, and like land on the couch on the other side, and then get up and dive over you again. And of
You
course,
know-
he doesn't always make the dive, which
Yeah.
makes it a little difficult to talk on the phone.
I'm sure you guys, you're closer to child age than I am by far. Now it's like going up and down stairs. Your brain just doesn't tell your feet what to do as well when you get older. It just doesn't. I mean, it's not like you have to like concentrate on every single step, but like skipping down the steps, there's no way I would ever even attempt to do that anymore. Ever since I had my knee
Skipping
replacement.
down the steps, I would
Yeah,
never
I used to-
skip
I
down
used to be able to
steps.
skip up the steps, run up the steps, do all this stuff, and now it's like make sure you don't fall down because you might hurt your knee replacement. So
Huh.
it's like your it's a whole different wiring system. I remember being a kid, and you've got that weightless,
Yep.
boundless energy
Yep.
feeling. Yeah. And the older you get, the more that kind of goes.
Well, I mean, they
away.
are weightless. Ethan
Yeah.
weighs 36 pounds. It's like,
Yeah.
even if he falls, that's not a whole lot of weight to fall.
Yeah, they
And
can
he
just
also is
hurl.
only barely 3 feet tall. So it's like, when you're twice the height and 6 times the weight of that kid,
Yeah.
falls
But
a lot harder.
Yeah, but I just remember being able to ride my bike endlessly for miles and miles and
Yep.
miles and not really feel anything, just not the way it is anymore.
That's the thing about
Sadly.
being a relatively large species is it takes a lot of energy to move you.
It's true.
I mean, think about like all the really big species, like, elephants and whales and stuff like that. They don't exactly move fast unless they really have to.
They do not.
That's true.
Yeah. It's inertia.
I got to bring this up from the Wall Street Journal because this makes me very, very sad. Americans throw away up to $68 million in coins every year.
Throw away.
It says they throw them away.
That's
Here
right.
is where they all end up.
Oh,
I would never throw away a coin.
well, wishing fountain.
But I mean,
No, but the people who own the fountain take the coins and
Oh,
deposit
that's true.
them. Yeah.
$68 million a year, though? I mean, my God.
It's a lot of coins.
That seems
a
Goes to
lot
the
of
homeless
coins.
guy in the corner that I see every day.
It says at a waste management facility in Morrisville, Pennsylvania, workers load incinerated trash into industrial machinery that separates and sorts metals, then sends them to basically they get hosed down. The reward: buckets and buckets and buckets of quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies. Americans toss as much as $68 million a year worth of change, according to Reworld. The sustainable waste processing company is on a treasure hunt to find it. The company says that the 7 years since it started the effort, it has collected $10 million worth of coins. I assume they're thrown into fountains, aren't they?
Well, no, but people, like I said, in fountains, they don't get thrown away. Whoever
Right.
owns the fountain collects them.
Right, like in Disney World, we went into It's a
Yeah.
Small World, and that's
Yeah.
All
water
kinds.
ride.
Right.
It's full
Just
of coins.
tons of coins all
Yeah.
over the place.
I remember I asked somebody that worked at It's a Small World last year what they do with all the coins, and she was like, "We collect, like somebody goes in and collects them every so often." And I remember asking her how much money it was, and she told me, and I forgot. So
But
Well,
was it like
that
$1 million,
information.
something like that?
I don't know. It was a lot of money.
God, isn't that amazing? They just throw it away, throw it in there.
People like to. I mean, that's like a tradition in Italy to you make a wish into the fountains, throw the coin over your shoulder, and
So you can return to Rome.
so anytime anybody goes to Rome, they're throwing coins in the fountain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that where the whole idea of 3 coins in a fountain came from?
I don't know what you're
3
speaking. of.
coins.
It's a movie called 3 Coins in a Fountain.
It is.
You're right.
Look it up.
1954.
There you go. What's it about, Andy?
It's about 3 coins in a
In a
fountain.
fountain. Yes, I'm very shocked that that's the answer.
I've
What
never
a
looked
plot!
up.
What a plot
Never.
twist!
It is about, it's 3 American women working in Rome, and then stuff happens.
Oh,
What do you mean stuff
Hijinks?
happens?
But yeah, it's the fountain in question is the Trevi Fountain.
Oh.
So they
It
throw
is.
coins in there, and then each of them finds love, I guess. Or,
I would say the whole
Ah.
Trevi Fountain thing is, yeah.
Yeah. It's
you know why I know
beautiful
about the
place.
Trevi Fountain?
No, I don't.
Mario is missing on the Super Nintendo.
Sure.
Not from my photos from my trip.
No.
Well,
Absolutely.
Mario is
Would
missing
never
happened a
get
lot
it.
earlier than that.
Yeah, that's true.
God, unbelievable.
I mean, I know people that just hate change. They will not carry it. They will not spend it. I'm like,
I don't
"It's-"
spend it or carry it, but I bring it home and give it to Ethan, and he puts it in his piggy bank, which he loves.
Oh,
But I've always like collected it and then bring it to one of those coin counting things.
Well, yeah.
Or bring it to the
Yeah.
bank or something. I
Or
don't
I'll
just-
tip, like sometimes, especially before we had Ethan, what I would do is I'd be carrying around change in my pocket, especially in the winter when it's a coat and you have so many pockets that you can just put change in there and not care about it.
Right.
And then every so often when it got heavy enough, the next tip jar I saw, I just put it all in there. Just be like, here you go. Here's your jackpot.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, it was probably only worth like, $6 or $7, but still.
Well, $6 or $7 they didn't have before.
Yep, that's what I do. I've never throw it away. That was a joke on Frasier, actually. Roz says, Fraser's complaining about money, and Roz says, this from a guy who throws away his change. And he says, if you had seen that cashier's cuticles, you would have done the same.
Oh, God. Jesus.
Ew.
I hate that.
Oh,
The filthy
Well, there's a
fingernails.
reason to throw away change sometimes, I suppose.
Jesus. That's really sweet.
Well, you should check everything for wheat pennies. There's some wheat
Wheat
pennies that are
pennies?
worth
Wheat
like $10,000.
Are they
Wheat
gluten-free?
pennies, and there's a certain nickels and certain quarters that you should look out for.
Okay, I have a question for you guys.
Uh-huh.
what?
Did you think I would ever agree with John Fetterman on anything?
Your choice
Who is
of
John
clothing,
Fetterman?
yes.
Those-
You don't know who John Fetterman is?
No.
No.
Is he the brain damaged guy?
Yeah, he's the dumpy,
Yeah.
frumpy
Mhm.
I have no idea
senator.
what
I
you're
think he's a
talking about.
senator, isn't he?
He's Senator Grog.
Yeah, he's a senator in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, he's frumpy, dumpy guy. Yeah.
Yes.
But he came forward yesterday, and I was very, very proud of him as an American. He came forward yesterday and said he's sick to death of hearing about death to America, death to Jews, death to Palestine. He said he's sick to death of it, and why we allow that in a country he does not understand. I couldn't agree with him more.
Yeah, ever since he came back from his stroke, I've been thinking that he makes more sense now.
He does. You're absolutely right. He had a stroke, and he makes more sense than he used to.
And recalibrated as
Yeah,
well.
there you go.
I think so. I
Reboot.
think there was a reboot.
No question. Well, one of the headlines today, Columbia University president testifies before Congress about anti-Semitism on campus. Now, how did this now, I'm basically asking, all three of you this, but certainly the younger people, where did all this anti-American, anti-Semitism, where is this all coming from?
It's because it's rewarded.
It is rewarded how?
Well, if they blame everything on white skin, then they get everything they want.
Okay.
Jews have white skin. Americans overwhelmingly have white skin. There you go.
That's true.
It's that simple.
Yep.
It's because of skin color.
Yep.
Yeah.
People are
They-
that stupid.
It's pretty
Well, I mean-
transparent at this point.
It's a simple fact that if you call a white person racist, usually they're going to give you what you want.
That's true. They cave in.
Yep.
I don't know why that is.
They're so scared of being called racist that they'll do anything you ask. So that's what people do.
You know what I love about that the most, though, is I love these people from these magnificent neighborhoods that know all about racism and this and that. You have no idea what the hell you're talking about. You've
No.
never been near it. You've never dealt with it, but you're an expert on racism.
And they wrote a paper on it one time in
Yeah, it's just such
second year,
bullshit.
so now they're experts.
You've never seen racism, because if you did, you'd know exactly what it's all about.
It's just like, it's very interesting on social media how many people are experts at Palestine, experts of
Oh, yeah.
Israel, experts on all kinds of, topics that they read a headline yesterday and now they're all experts. So it's just the world we live in.
Oh, I got a text message. Apparently, Columbia University is being blamed for the spread of claiming anti-Semitism, anti-this, anti-that. Apparently, they love to chirp about anti-everything at Columbia University. I did not know that.
Chirp about anti-everything.
Yeah, everything sucks. Everything's horrible. It's racist. It's anti-Semit. It's this and
Well,
It's like Jesus.
Another thing you've got is that a lot of universities make professors publish.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's easier to write a book or a paper about stupid crap that's not even verifiable than it is about something intelligent that actually takes knowledge and ability. Like a mathematics paper, is hard to write. I went to the store and somebody was racist against me is not hard to write.
Yeah. True.
So, if that's the kind of thing they're looking for, then that's pretty easy to provide.
But here's what I understand. Maybe they're not racist. Maybe you're an asshole.
Well, there is that.
I mean, they've never considered that part. Maybe you're being a prick, and it's got nothing to do with skin color.
It is possible.
I just don't understand how people can't separate any of that stuff. It's racist. You've never seen racism. You don't know what the hell you're even talking about. But everybody's an expert.
It's kind of like the new age way to raise children is to never tell them that they're wrong about anything.
Oh,
And if
yeah.
they rage, it's because they're either hungry, tired, or sad about something. So you excuse the behavior because there's probably some reason why they're acting the way they're acting. And that's kind of what we're doing with racism. We're making an excuse for people to act the way they're acting instead of
Right.
how do we fix this? It's like, well, of course they're acting like this because there's systemic racism. They're mad about whatever history. It doesn't get anybody anywhere except for more resentment and
Right.
people to be afraid of engaging with them in a real manner because there's nothing you can actually put your finger on and say, this is the problem, this is the solution. It's all sort of this ethereal way of thinking. And it's the way everybody is now.
But I don't
They
understand.
use words that don't make sense.
No, they use words that don't make sense. And I will tell you something else. And, there are people that are much deeper in it than I ever was. But I experienced things as a child. You want to talk about racism, we can sit and talk about it sometime. You people have never seen true racism. Just because somebody doesn't like you doesn't necessarily mean it's your skin color. You might be a pain in the ass. Do you ever think of that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, people are shooting each other constantly in Minneapolis and in the south side of
Yep.
Chicago, and
Yep.
it's usually the same skin color. It doesn't mean that they're racist against each other, right? There's something else going on.
Apparently, it's being taught a lot in our college system that everything is racist.
Yes, but yeah, it's true.
But why would they teach that? Why would they teach hatred?
Like I said, it's easy.
Yeah, but it's hatred. You're causing problems here.
They think that somehow it's, because everybody's mean, and if everybody would just stop being mean, all the problems will go away.
I would agree with that. Why are you so damn angry? Why are you so unhappy? I got to be honest with you. Since I hopped on social media, because I got off it 12 years ago because I hated it so much. Since I've been back on social media for about a month and a half, people could not be nicer.
Well, you had a whole different circumstance in those days. You had a core group of people that were hell bent for, blood. So
Yeah,
they
true.
were making life a misery for everyone.
I suppose that's true, but I mean, I don't see any of that anymore. And I talked to you guys about this before, that apparently they block some of that now, which they didn't used to do.
Oh yeah, if I even get a whisper of somebody saying something mildly obnoxious on my site, I just block or mute them, and I usually look at their page, and it's usually like, this guy is kind of weird, so I just block them. I have no time for it.
But see, I think that's a wonderful thing, and I don't know if it's just Facebook or if it's all of them that do it, because I've heard that X does not block any hatred or anything like that. So I don't know. I don't think I'd want to be
I
on
think
that.
they do like violence. I believe
They'll
that
block
they-
If it's
violence.
illegal, they'll get rid of it. Yeah.
I
But
believe
other
that
than
they're one of the only platforms that actually worries about pedophilia and things like
Really?
that. They do try to get rid of the, trafficking. I mean, it's a huge multi-billion-dollar industry,
Dude, you little tired
trafficking
there, are
people. So it pops up constantly.
you? Yeah. Listen to him snoring back
I
there.
know. I mean, they're trafficking people across the border and putting them into slavery, and nobody seems to give a flying fig
Nope.
about it.
Sure don't.
Well, and I don't know the name, and I don't want to use the name, but yesterday Mom and I were talking about something, and she was talking about some politician and the fact that people are encouraging pedophilia, and I said, that's not true, and I looked it up.
Oh, there was a Minnesota law passed redefining pedophilia or something like that.
Right.
You can look that up. Finke, Finke, or Fink, whatever her name is, drafted it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are saying that is normalizing pedophilia, but apparently it changes
remember-
its category.
I remember
somehow.
hearing about this last year.
Yeah,
Oh,
And I
it
remember
pops up
reading the
every once
law,
in a
and
while.
I thought it was very suspect, but I don't remember what the language used was.
Yeah, because the new law is not suspect. It does not support pedophilia
Well,
in any way, shape, or form.
Apparently, the language is a little loose, and so they did put an amendment
yeah.
in it because people were very upset about it, saying that this does not decriminalize or something pedophilia. So there was some language that was a little bit like, what the hell? What does this mean?
Is there any explanation of where pedophilia even comes? Why some people would be sexually attracted to children? I've never understood where that
Why
even
are
would come
people
from.
sexually attracted to a tree or
Right,
a
that's
car
true.
or an animal? I mean,
A lot of things can go wrong in the human brain.
yeah,
I guess,
something
but
very wrong.
wouldn't you know it's wrong though? You know, wait a minute, why am I thinking this?
I don't know if they've got any self-control or
Yeah, maybe
or
not.
any
Well, why do
impulse
people?
control.
Why are people serial killers? There's just
I
Exactly.
know.
Yeah.
I
There's a
know.
lot about the human brain that we don't know.
Boy, you got that right. There's no question about that. But I just,
Now here we go. What it was the original statute here said sexual orientation means having or being perceived as having an emotional, etc., etc. Sexual orientation does not include a physical or sexual attachment to children by an adult. That
right.
part was struck, which means physical or sexual attachment to children by an adult would be considered a sexual orientation. So it would have the protections of a sexual orientation.
Well, that's not a good
See,
idea.
that's, I think, where people get upset.
But you said they amended it. I'm hoping that's true. Jude, be
I know,
quiet.
Jude's
he's
snoring up
snoring
a
up them.
storm.
Oh, Judy.
He's out. He's out like a light. Yeah, I just don't know why they would have to even think about that as being a law. It's illegal. Don't do it. What
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
can't we just go that far? It's illegal.
I
Don't
guess
commit
it's just
crimes.
it's one of those things that they just can't suppress it forever. Apparently, it's some people can and some people can't. I don't know,
Well, it's still illegal.
and I don't know if there's anything that they can do to help them not be attracted to children.
I don't think so. Not really.
That's a very sad story.
It
No, I mean, we
is.
can't even make people stop hallucinating and things like that. So,
Yeah,
Well,
that's
you can
true.
if you drug them up so much that they can't even function.
oh, but even then, it doesn't work 100%.
That's true.
It makes it better, but it's, they're still going to have delusions and psychoses and stuff.
Right.
And, a lot of them don't even think it's worth it, the amount of side effects these drugs have. So, if we can't do something like that, then something even more subtle is going to take even more time.
I suppose that's true,
Yeah,
but
for as smart as we are, we're still pretty dumb about the brain.
Yeah, we have very little information about how the brain works.
there you go. So, anything good in the news this morning? I'm just kind of looking around for good stories. A lot of negativity about politics and how everybody should go to prison, and
So same story, different day.
same story, different day. That some people think Biden should go to prison, some people think that Trump should go to prison, and then the third group thinks they both should go to prison. So there you go. What do you think?
I don't think anything's ever going to change.
Nothing's ever gonna change.
I just
Mhm.
don't really understand the whole situation. That's whatever. Oh my God, who is going to win the presidential election? You want to bet? And they're showing little, what is it? Donkey? It's a jackass. Isn't that a That's the
Donkey is Democrats.
Democrats.
Elephant
Yeah.
is Republican.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, I remember my sister came up with I just wanted to point something out to you. I'll hug your elephant if you kiss my ass. I'm like, really?
Funny.
Is that how far it's gotten? Really? Is that what it's all about?
Creepy.
And how did they become elephant and jackass? How did that happen?
Oh, that's a good question. It's one of
I've
those things
heard
you just.
that it was like some ancient Democrat politician got called a jackass, and so he started using the
Oh,
jackass as his symbol. I don't know how the elephant came along.
maybe just because they had to grab something.
Just
We're
pick
bigger
a
than you.
random animal.
Is it a we're bigger than you thing? Is that what that might be all about?
I doubt it.
I have no idea what the hell that's all about.
Let's-
If you're among the millions of Americans who follow the presidential race, then perhaps you can turn your political obsession into a tidy profit by betting on this year's outcome. Would you ever bet on an outcome of an election?
No.
no.
No, not
I
going to
am
happen.
absolutely horrible at voting for the person that wins.
You're not.
It's just
Well,
not.
then you
it's
just
not
bet against
possible.
yourself, and you win every time.
Yeah.
So
Well, I generally bet for the third party, or the person that's definitely not going to win, just because I don't usually like the candidates that are running, and I don't want to give them my vote. So, I mean, it's pretty much my own fault. I've never been like yay, this person, really.
There it is. Now there's a part of this next paragraph that doesn't make any sense to me. Predictit.org, a political futures website that allows participants to wager on political outcomes, on April 1st showed President Biden is a slight favorite over former President Donald Trump in the general election. That's the first time I've ever heard of that. And I'm not saying it's not true, but I have not heard that Biden's anywhere. I thought Trump was up on him like 2-3 points.
I don't know about that.
I mean, it depends on who you ask, of course.
Well, I suppose at 48 cents to 47 cents a share, respectively, those prices reflect a race that is within margin of error of many polls. And here's how it works. Users can bet a maximum of $850 on any single outcome, though a spokeswoman for Predictit says the average bet is about $100. You place your bet by purchasing shares, ranging in price from a penny to 99 cents, I guess, on the markets platform. Do you think a lot of people who do that will look up sites like that and bet on the election?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure every election, there's billions of dollars in betting going on.
So do you think a lot of it is the fact that this is such a close race? And some people say it's not close. Other people say this guy's up. Other people say that guy's up. You can't really find out what's true and who really is up, can you?
Pollsters famously lost a lot of their clout when they predicted a 99% chance for Hillary.
Oh, they did. That's right.
They basically said ahead of time, Hillary's going to win. There's absolutely no chance for Trump.
Right.
And then she lost, and people were like, these people don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Do they spin what they see? Can people not stop themselves from spinning information?
100%. Most
what it
polls
is.
are designed to shape public opinion, not reflect them.
Right.
If you think that everyone else is voting for someone, then you're more likely to vote for that person too, because you don't want to vote for the losing team.
Exactly. Here's what I don't understand about the election. And I suppose both presidents, Biden now and Trump 4 years ago, would be involved in this. But I mean, why aren't we more focused on getting rid of $34 trillion in debt? What about that?
Because the platform is tax and spend.
Yep. Got to send money
Mostly
to
spend.
send money to the voters, send money to Ukraine, send money to Israel, send money to the Middle
Well,
East.
you know how
Money's
it is.
got to go everywhere in the whole world.
Sure, it's fun to spend money.
But
Yep.
the problem is,
And it makes a lot of people happy if you give them
Yep.
money. It makes them very, very happy,
I
and they like
understand,
you.
yeah.
So it's just it's the easiest way to solve a problem is to throw, well, it doesn't actually solve a problem. To abate a problem for a short period of time is to throw money at it.
But here's the argument I have. It's not your money to throw around. It's our money.
That's not how they view it.
Well, I don't care how they view it. It's true. It's our money. You should not be allowed to throw it around however you wish to buy votes.
No, they don't care. Government's growing that's the fastest growing sector
Oh, God, I suppose.
is the government. It's growing and growing and growing for jobs and budgets. So it's just, it's a free-for-all because there's no checks and balances anymore.
Well, and the thing about it is, it may have happened in the past. I don't know. But I don't ever remember politics being this filthy. I mean, I've seen it be filthy, but this is way over the top.
Don't you think social media has
Yes,
shined a light on
I think so.
it?
What do you
a
think
lot?
about that? What do you guys think about it in your age group?
What are we thinking about now?
You weren't listening to a word we said.
If politics is filthy.
Well, I mean,
it's always
it's a
been
very
filthy,
broad
so, yeah.
question.
Well, no, I mean, did you, in your lifetime, do you think politics is filthier now than when 20 years ago?
Yes.
No.
Well, 20 years ago, weren't even probably thinking
What's the
about
thing?
politics.
Is 20 years
Yeah,
ago,
that's true,
Alex
I
was,
suppose.
you were what, 15?
Abraham Lincoln was assassinated.
Yeah.
Politics
No, I'm
isn't
talking-
great.
Well, yeah,
I'm
I
talking
mean,
about-
but in the past 20 years, 200 years ago, sure,
Not really.
politicians
I
were
mean,
killing each other
look
all the
at
time.
Freaking George Clinton, how his whole
George Clinton.
Bill Clinton?
George Clinton from that band. What's his name?
Parliament?
Great band.
Parliament, Funkadelic, whatever.
Parliament Funkadelic,
Yeah.
You're
George
mixing
Clinton.
George Bush,
George
and Bill
Bush
Clinton.
and Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Yep, mixing them together to make
Mhm.
George Clinton, who has the best mugshot of all time.
Yes, he does.
Anyway, Bill Clinton and all his drama and
And how people still adore and worship him.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just
Yep.
people are gross.
That's
But
true.
don't you think that's where all these attacks are coming from now? Because Bill Clinton, the fact that they went after him, it's going to have to be paid back someday, and it's being paid back right now. There's no question. The fact that Look, Bill Clinton was banging everybody in sight. Everybody knows that. But, I mean, let's look back throughout history. They all did it. I mean, they finally admitted that Abraham Lincoln was gay. And why, I don't really understand why people weren't allowed to think that or know that before. If he was gay, he's gay. Who gives a rat's ass? I mean, he slept in a single bed with a guy for 4 years. It wasn't too hard to figure out, is it?
Yeah. Well,
Why?
it was illegal, and
Well, it was
people were
illegal, that's
shot
true.
for that kind of thing. So
That is very true. It was illegal. But I still just, in my view, what's going on with Biden now, what's going on with Trump now, goes all the way back to going after Bill Clinton. Oh, you went after our guy 25 years ago? Well, now we're going after your guy.
you know what they say about payback.
It's true.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
absolutely true. It's really unfortunate that is what happens, but, I guess you got your guy and you want your guy to win and whatever.
Well, as soon as they impeached Trump for the second time, I was like, well, Genie is now out of the bottle. They're going to be
Yeah.
doing this
Yeah.
every opportunity they get.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
rest of time.
And
Yep.
they've been trying to impeach Biden ever since he got into office.
Yep.
And if they ever get a big enough majority in the House, they will.
Yeah. Well, if you
And
think
then
about
the
it,
next president, whoever that is, he'll get impeached over and over as well, or people will try to impeach him. Everyone's constantly going to be impeaching everyone until,
Right.
I don't know, probably everyone alive right now is dead.
well, like I said, if you think about it, everything's about control, and if you're hammering somebody with impeachment inquiries and hearings and all that kind of stuff, then they can't do their job, which you don't want them to do anyway,
Right,
because their policies
right.
aren't following what you say that they should be. It's not about the will of the people. The people elect somebody because they want their policies. So the other politicians are like, nope, can't have that. Can't have the people deciding what they want. We still are superior in every way because we raised $40 billion and got elected.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's just all the whole thing's just kind of a stupid thing. I really
me
do.
it is, yes.
Yeah, I really do think that everything like this should just be under a committee that is like definitely all super left wing, super right wing people, and some people in the middle, and they're the ones that have to duke it out. And if they can't come up with an agreement, then nothing happens at all.
I know. And I agree with you guys 100%. I just don't understand what it's all about. But I do remember thinking when they went after Bill Clinton, I thought to myself, well, if you're on the opposing side, you ain't going to like what happens because they're never going to forget you did this.
Nope.
And they didn't. I mean, it took many, many years to get to it.
But I mean, when a president lies
Yeah. I
under
know.
oath, shouldn't they
know.
be impeached? I mean,
I
don't we
understand what you're
don't we
saying.
want some standards for our politicians to follow? I mean, they
you
aren't
think.
gods and they aren't kings, and they keep on saying that nobody's above the law. Well,
Yep.
definitely a president shouldn't be lying under oath.
I agree with you. But I will tell you, you go after them, they're going to come after you the first chance they get.
Yeah, but like I said, what does that show about politics?
Well,
that it's
it's
just
filthy.
100% theater and stupidity.
And it's
That's what
filthy.
it is.
It always has been
Yeah.
filthy.
So I
Have
mean,
they made a decision about the presidential immunity thing? I don't know if that ever
No,
went.
apparently Trump is in court and they're not letting him go to the other hearing about the presidential immunity, and they're not letting him go to his son's graduation party or graduation ceremony, and they're not letting him do something else because they're dredging up something that happened from 2016
What?
that was settled. That Stormy Daniels.
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
Hey.
They're doing that again?
Yeah, he paid her off.
Jeez.
She said in a book that they never had sex.
Right.
He paid her off. She went her own way, and now they're dredging this up from 2016.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't even make any sense. How do things that were settled in the courts be brought up and you're retried? I thought isn't that called double indemnity or something?
Double jeopardy only
Double
applies to
jeopardy.
criminal trials, not civil trials.
But they're
Well, that is
taking
crime,
they're
criminal,
taking
yeah.
things from civil and whatever the other lesser one is, and they're making them federal just for him so that they really want him to go to federal prison. That's
Yes,
what
they
they
do.
want, and they're gonna do whatever they can to do it.
How does that look to other countries, in your opinion, that some of us want a former president to be put in prison?
I know.
Well, why do you think that we're in, the mess that we're in? I mean, look at the world.
But I mean, look back at you can go over a list of our presidents and the things that they did, which aren't exactly above board, most of them should have probably gone to prison, I would guess.
Maybe.
Who knows? I mean, whatever. I just really wish they'd calm down and stop with the hate. What good does it do people your age and younger than you to tune into television and watch these parties call each other filth and scum and all? How is that good for the youth of America?
They don't watch it.
Do they just avoid it completely?
Yeah, I don't think that most of them are watching this.
Yeah, probably not. You think
No.
that's probably true, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not watching it at all.
No.
So what are they watching, Alex? What should we watch?
Bluey, the half-hour
yeah,
special.
Yeah, people like
Bluey.
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 They're very
Bluey'd be
into
I'd
good.
Bluey.
say watch Bluey.
Why doesn't Bluey run for president? I'd vote for Bluey.
She'd be
Exactly.
great. Well, she's
Well,
only
she's
7.
seven, so
Well,
yeah.
she's
That's true.
Australian.
And
so
Australian.
it makes it hard.
Yeah, no,
That's true.
Americans and a dog and fictional.
hmm
All these things make it really difficult to run for
Yes.
president.
It
It's
does.
just too hard.
Yeah.
You know what's great about that, though? That Bluey, whether it's, from somebody as young as Ethan to somebody as old as me, we can sit and watch that show and it's a very enjoyable show to watch.
It
It's
is.
not
It's a
just
great
for
show.
kids.
Fantastic.
Don't
It
you
is.
think?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really not great kids shows out there that we just
Really?
kind of tolerate. I mean, there's a lot of shows that are fine. It's like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Ethan's
Mhm.
super into that right now.
He loves that. The old one, right?
Clubhouse is from
Yep.
2006, I think.
Club.
Oh, okay. I thought he did the black and white. He loves the black
Well, he likes
and
that
white,
one too, but Clubhouse
does.
is his favorite.
Oh,
Which is
Um,
interesting because you kids would not watch anything that was in black and white. You just wouldn't even look at it.
That's true. I never really
You wouldn't
liked
do it.
black and white.
Yeah. But that's interesting.
But it's
Nobody
like
likes
the
that.
Clubhouse it's fine. It's a
Yeah,
pretty
it's
bog
okay.
standard kids show. It's like, oh, there's this broken bridge. Which tool can we use to fix it? And then it shows a bunch of tools, and they go, oh, we can use the hammer. Yep.
Toodles.
Oh, Toodles. They have to call everybody. Say, oh, Toodles. And Ethan loves Toodles.
Oh,
The
Ethan loves
zippy little
doodles.
And it's
flying
like-
robot.
That's not the kind of show that any adult would ever watch without a kid around. But a lot of adults would watch Bluey.
Oh,
Because
God. yes.
Bluey is
Bluey's
just
good.
like, it's a good enough show that, if you're a parent, even if your kids are all grown up and everything, you can relate to pretty much everything that happens in that show.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that part of it is because the family of Bluey is kind of a happy family?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's usually the case in
And
children.
the dad
Yeah,
is fun and makes up games. I
Mhm.
mean,
Right.
it's like
That's very
it's like-
involved.
yeah, it's like how you wish that your family was.
Well,
You know,
helpful that neither of them ever seem to go to work.
Every once in a while, the dad goes. to work.
Every
it's
so
only
often.
15
but-
minutes. It can't-
It's
7 minutes, 7 or 8,
8
yeah.
Oh,
minutes.
you're kidding! It's that short.
They're
Yeah, it's
very,
very,
short.
very short.
And it deals with like real life
Real-life stuff,
things.
yeah.
One of the mom's sister has a hard time getting pregnant.
Mhm.
The
Oh, really?
like
I didn't know
they
that.
they deal with moving in the new one and how hard it is to say goodbye to
Yep.
people and like looking at your baby and thinking, why is this baby crawling before my baby? Is there something wrong with
Right.
my baby? Like all these things.
Bum shuffle.
Bum shuffle.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's just it deals with things that you actually deal with as a family
Yeah.
with young children,
It's real
rather
stuff.
than most kids shows are just like
Somebody bonking somebody over the head.
dog
Yeah.
is up on the top of the roof and
What
we have
co-
to rescue
what
it. Let's
color's
work
the dog?
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
kind of stuff.
Very patronizing. I mean,
Yeah.
you could argue that Bluey isn't really a kids show because it is
Yeah.
dealing with such things. It's dealing with things that kids can't possibly comprehend. But they like the colors and they like the jokes, and it's
Mhm.
fun for them to watch.
Yeah, depending on I don't know. There's one episode that makes me cry every single time.
What
I
is
mean, I
it?
cry a lot. What is it called? It's oh no, I'm not going to remember what it's called, but it's about Bingo wants to stay the whole night in her own bed. She's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm going to be a big girl
Mhm.
in my big girl bed all night long. And then Chili, the mom, is like, you do what you need to do. We're here for you. If not, whatever you want to do. And then she has these like crazy dreams that she's like in outer space and all these things are happening. And it's hilarious because like part of it, she and Bluey are like running on some planet, and they're actually like smashing their dad in the back with their feet.
Right.
And
Right. I love that stuff.
And yeah, it's just really funny. But then at the end, Bingo's like crying and sad and alone on like this cold planet, and then all of a
Oh.
sudden she sees the sun, and her eyes like light up, and then she just jets to the sun, and then is like where she wants to be. And in the dream, she's so happy, and she's actually with her mom,
Oh.
and it's like,
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yeah, the whole
So
episode has
sweet.
very little dialogue.
yeah, there's
Like,
really not much.
Once she goes to sleep, I don't think anyone talks until the very end.
Bluey asks for water
Oh yeah, that's right.
at some point, and the dad mumbles, well, Bluey is on the toilet at some point. The dad's singing
What?
90
And-
bottles
yep.
of whatever on the wall.
Yep.
And that's kind of like it.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
there's not a lot of dialogue in that episode. It's a great I can't remember what it's called.
I can't watch Dumbo when the when they
trunk.
take away Dumbo from his mother.
And his trunk
And
goes
yeah,
away
and
from
she's
her.
cradling him in the trunk,
Yep.
through the jailhouse window, and they do that song about "Baby of Mine." I'm like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Can't watch
Dumbo since I was, I don't know, 8.
Baby
great.
mine.
It's been a very
well, I
long
don't.
time.
It's on the do not watch list.
Mhm.
Because of
Okay,
that.
the episode of Blue is called Sleepy Time.
Sleepy time.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
it's funny, it's sweet, it's fawn cries.
It's an emotional roller
It
coaster.
really is. And I don't know. And like, I think because it plays into, Sage still comes
Yeah.
into our bed pretty much every night. And like, when I decided I don't care, because I'm like, why do I care? I'm only caring because people are like, oh, is he a good sleeper? Is he sleeping? Sleep, sleep, sleep. That's all you hear about when you have a baby. Like, is he sleeping? Constantly. And it's like, oh, he needs to be an independent, good sleeper and stuff like that. And it's like, why?
Leave me
Yeah.
alone.
Why?
Is that it?
Why? I don't get it. Why? Like, why can't my little kid want to be near me? I don't understand why it matters. So once I stopped caring, I was like, this is fantastic. He just comes into our bed.
Well, some people really
Just-
can't sleep with like other things in the bed.
Yeah, but that's up to you to decide what works for
Yeah.
you. But I feel like overall, constantly, is it a good sleeper? Is it a good baby? Does he sleep? Just
Mhm.
constantly. And it's like, who cares?
Because
Leave me
the
alone.
parent wants some sleep, most likely.
Yeah.
And if you've got that kind of schedule where you have to be up at 5:30 in the morning to be to work by 8 and get everybody done, and you're gone all day for 10 hours, it's a little bit different, I think, for some people.
There it is.
But I just mean
Yeah.
like overall, like people are just too obsessed with children and sleeping on their own. It's just, I don't know.
Well, in many societies, there's 10 people in a 3-room place. So
Exactly.
nobody's ever sleeping alone.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to do it for today, ladies and gentlemen. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Oh, toodles.
Toot.
Got a picture in my noggin reminds me of this one was before. Every time I hear the same reminds me how you talking.